Organizations are devoting much effort to design extemporally HR practices, but sometimes these special practices accorded to the knowledge workers are leading to unfair expectation from the knowledge worker. For example, more pay, attention, and a slight test reasons many attitude issues. Moreover, some of these knowledge workers are demanding more rise and more benefits irrespective of the environment impact. HR managers, organizations are facing difficulties in manage knowledge worker. This because much better knowledge worker belonging a global organization, working and international assessment. So knowledge management application in HR activities. So in KM, knowledge management applications to training and development. So here they're going to management system, communicate, practice better performance teams. So global knowledge management. So here in globally, how we are sharing that knowledge, challenges of global knowledge management success depends on the successful encounter these challenges. And is people related issues, organizational settings, technology related issues, management policies and practices. So these are the global related, global knowledge management related issues. So how global knowledge management design? Identify barriers of knowledge management, designing knowledge sharing process, establishing proper infrastructure, accessing the success of knowledge management. So let me sum up. No, we had studied this unit. We had studied knowledge management and process, global knowledge management, and the challenges. So, next, we'll move on to so HR practices in USA and Canada. So we want to know, as a part of GHRM, we should know what are the practices by USA and Canada. To know human resource practices in US and Canada, discuss the staffing policies, recruitment pay settings, performance, promotion, training, and reputation, and analyzing the differences in HR practices between UK and UK and USA. Explain the implementation of HR practices and issues. So HR department appears to moving away from working jointly with line management in terms of where responsibility of lies the major policies decision across the whole range of HRM activities, such pay, benefits, recruitment, selection, training and development, industry relation, as well as workforce expansion, reduction. So here, these are the list we are going to cover up: staffing policies, recruitment, pay settings, performance, promotion, training, repatriation. So what is the implementation of HRM practices? Minimize the exposure of employees, correct conduct by assessing the development and the publication, implementation of the appropriate code of conduct. Ensure training programs cover areas of ethical concern such as bribery, human rights, justice, the common good in a manner consistent with the multinational objectives in this regard. Align the performance, appraisal, compensation system so that they support ethical sentence taken. Be conversation with the type of requests that may be made of staff operating internationally, not just expatriate, but also those visit foreign makers, various capabilities, provide the necessary training so that they have the requests, negotiation skills, handle the problem situations that may arise. Ensure that employees undertake the difference between corrupt and bribery payment and gifts and allowance functionalities and payment. Issues and challenges. Replications of H.R.M practice across the global boundaries, equipping the potential expatriate with the tools, increased chance of global success, cultural diversity, global compensation, global benefits, global labor relations, growth strategy, the role of human resource management, strategic partner, change agent, administrative expert, and employee campaign, coping with the skills shortage. Here, to the extent with the there's a the runs that flowed that recent development is that increment of the public regulations of HR function. There was a time in US when employees were almost entirely unregulated. Either unions by the government, employees were looked upon the communities. The employer had no obligation towards the expect to pay their regular wages. The financial burdens of life's risk, illness, unemployment, old age, death was borne exclusively by employees. The employee's only right was quit and a right more than counterbalanced by employee right discharge of the time. So unions are redressal balances. Among unions gave workers a series of rights and defended by grievances procedure. Strong unions also won a comprehensive stream of benefits for the members. These shifted the risks to the employers. Thought the unions have now been greatly weakened. The reforms they introduced have been widely adapted. Particularly, a large progressive companies. Indeed, these reforms play a major part in these HR policies of high commitment organization, but voluntarily adheres and not enough the relieved the union threats may company become arbitrary as well. Further, unions had a relatively low priority. The grievances of women, minorities, and handicapped in this face of public and companies. These did little more than formalize their already felt to be good HR policies. For other adjustment has proved difficulties, but they are rarely impossible. So the general trend towards greater formalization and regulation are occurring similarly with the somewhat weaker trend towards participative management, which and high commitment policies, both trend. So this will quickly move on to next unit. 11. We'll quickly move on to HR practices in Asian countries. To know the HR practices in Japan and China, understand the concepts of lifetime employment, seniority-based payment, promotion system, quality management style in Japanese, analyze the HR practices like performance appraisal, compensation, training and development. So, explain the HR issues and challenges in both Japan and China. So large firms extending their business throughout the world, complete and globally. Multinational companies, corporations are making investments in foreign countries throughout the merger and acquisition with annual rate of 95% for the last 30 years. So multinational companies generate about 25% of its sales from foreign resources. HR practices in Japan. So in Japan, you can see lifetime employment concept. What is lifetime? So there is no retirement concept. Basic characteristics of traditional Japan resources management. The three primary characteristics of Japan management style, which are associated with national culture codes. lifetime employment, seniority-based payment, company unions. So, so here, conscious decision making. There is an emphasis on Japanese culture, business, and conscious decision making. Everyone in the company should collectively agree on objective decisions of company. All conflict should be avoided. One and here this consensus system is known in Japan and the Ringi system. Ringi system. So the Ringi system is one of the most important human resource management practices in Japan. Japanese they follow Ringi systems. Decisions made with regard to the long-term impact of such decision rather than just immediate short-term impacts. Japanese business decisions are made in a structured, logical, thoughtful process. Employee loyalty to his companies in Japan are built upon philosophy that employee in the company are family. Therefore, employees are extremely loyal to their company and workplace. High performance, high importance, and performance on their company as a whole. There is an overall collective mindset in the firm. And Japan's society at large, their culture is like that, whereby individuals are rarely singled out for the price of blame. Employee often to work overtime without pay in order to contribute to the company well-being. In 2013, 8.8% of full-time employees worked more than 80 hours monthly overtime. How beauty it is. So in India, we can't see like such kind of thing. So Japan, they can't expect OD payment as well. They're collectively, they work for company. Okay. So lack of gender equality in workplace traditionally, women are not considered equal to men. In Japan, business environment, it is difficult for female graduate to find suitable work opportunity. It has been said that Japanese work customs make almost impossible for women to have both family and kids. So it's a limitation. And when we are talking about China, Chinese HRM practices are quite different from those used developed countries, developed and market economy, developing countries. Carefully consideration of the local idiosyncratic practices and required to operate successfully. Therefore, we include prior as well as current practices to provide a better appreciation of the effect that transaction to market economy is having on the major functions of HR. Stacking clear to the reforms. Chinese employees were classified into two groups. One is workers, second thing is cadres. Workers, all blue collar employees who are administrated by Ministry of Labor, they'll call us worker cadres. White collar staff, management by Ministry of Personnel. The board definition of cadre is a state institution and military, civil servant, or its narrow meaning personnel engaged certain specific leadership work or management work, organization cadre and enterprise cadre. Performance appraisal. So compensation and training and development, they both are same. And so training and development for blue collar workers and cadres. Issues. So there are certain issues: developing and retaining the quality staff, compensation, whole versus part, and non-comparable data, volatilities and international environment. So overall, we can conclude that human resource management practice in Japan certainly changing primarily due to Japan's poor economic performance in recent years. That influence of the globalization of competition. However, these challenges are slow, limited in some respects. Lifetime employment remain relatively common in Japan, with 35% of the Japanese employees graduated in 2011. Although lifetime employment limits the flexibility and opportunity of one's career, that although lifetime excuse me. Security provide particularly for families remains very highly valued in Japanese culture. This is evident from the fact that lifetime employment is an enhanced customs rather than the explicit requirement and employment contract. It is currently ingrained and therefore followed without need of legal enforcement. However, when faced these cost pressures may result in incompetency, which leads to lack of convenience and innovation efficiency. So in late 1988, late 1978, the Chinese government announced an open door policy and began economic reforms aimed at moving country from a centrally planned economy to a market economy. Under its centrally planned economy, industry were owned and run the state, and their growth regulated the planning together targets rather than the profit maximization decision independent. A supplementary role, the performance-based compensation has become the trend, and has become a replacement of wage different based on the individual and enterprise performance. When hiring Chinese nations for executive jobs, it may be multinational have found that Chinese manager lack of decision-making skills and are very taking personal initiative. HR practices in China construction organization include the multidimensional practices of job description, participation, training, staffing, and rewards, which is consist of the strategic HR practices. Organization adapt the multinational HR practices, their personal management. So further, I adapted to strongly change the reliable and valid human resources measurements scale in that context of the Chinese construction organization has been developed after exploratory and comfortability factors, relation, training, staffing, reward. For example, organizational learning, social culture, organization performance, individual behavior to measure job security, mobility. So with this, we can conclude. So there is a difference between Asian countries. We will quickly move on to HR practices in Europe. HR practices in Europe. No, Europe is a very big continent, and what are the practices? Understand the human resource practices in European countries. There are certain countries are there. Know that HR practices in England and discuss the various components like staffing policies and expatriate policies. Analyze the HR policies in France and discuss the adoption of leave policies, working time, vacation, sick leave policy, health and safety policy, employee relationship policy. Discuss the HR policies. German overall issued the challenges. When we talked about HR practices in global scenario, it is important to examine HR practices in advanced countries. Then rest of the world, it is in this context, the large firms are extending their business throughout the world to compete globally. HR practices in England. So, England, Before independence, every country, majority of the countries, they ruled by England, Britishers. They framed some policies. With the exception of England, each of these countries had its own parliament, matters of common concern, such as foreign and defense policies. However, decided by the UK Parliament, London. England has 9 official regions, each with its own enterprise zone staffing policies. Regarding the staffing policies used in UK MNC, and claiming that the use of parent country nations expatriate run foreign subsidiaries is still growing. You know that expatriate, right? Already we discussed in previous classes. Expatriate policies. So expatriate selection. We need to train the expatriate, repatriate, then they need to go for expatriate, repatriate. Human resource practices in UK and failure rates. HR policies in France. So they follow leaves. They'll have leave policies, working time policy, they're strict on to working time. Vacation, they'll give the vacation. Sick leave, they'll give sick leave. Health and safety policies, employee retention policies. HR policies in Germany: selection, training, appreciation, and compensation, and communication, employment, and stability. Excuse me 1 minute. Okay. Selection and training, appraisal, and the compensation, communication, stability. And there are these content, it's available in textbook due to time constraint. Okay, I'm briefly explaining the content. So you can go through that book, and if you have any queries, you can feel free to reach me. I'm going to clarify your doubts through phone or else mail ID. Okay, issues of development, issues and challenges. So here, there are issues of development subsidiaries, stage 1 and 2, privatization and firms, establishment, stage 3 and 4, issue of restructuring and development, stage 5, consolidation and renewal, stage 6, crisis and recovery. So issues of the organization structure, issues of relationship between headquarters and subsidiary HRs, and HR issues, CCE region post, and the progress of HR challenges, shortage of professional labor. So here, let me sum up this unit. We are going to briefly study the US and MNC, US, UK policies, and France and German. What are the components are there in our syllabus? And apart from this, each and every unit, we have some exercises. That means practical case scenarios we included in our textbook. Kindly go through the textbook content, and you can read it, and you can. It is very easy to understand as well. So we may enter into international H.R.M. contemporary issues. Black pine. So it consists of 3 units: role of IT in H.R.M, information technology and H.R.M, and international H.R.M contemporary issues. What is meant by IT? IT, you know that information technology. Before pre-COVID era, even most of the people, they feel that IT job is very difficult, or IT is no. It's difficult to understand. No, post-pandemic scenario, there are a lot of things pandemic teaches. Few things very positively. One is usage of digital or usage of technology. Now people move towards digital era due to pandemic. Everything, communication, they went through digital or technology enabled communication. They are going to communicate it. Payments, of course, it's also difficult. No, it's also digital. Organization, physical organization, they move towards virtual organizations. There are n number of startups. They started the business, taking the project as a freelance project, and virtual organization they formed with the team of employees. Everything they done through virtually. So here, the management of human resources through IT-enabled softwares. In this unit, we are going to discuss. So understanding of importance of role of IT in HRM, know the concept of HRIS and explain the structure of HRIS. The role of information technology, already we already briefed about. The organization integrated the technology HR administrator. In fact, the organization are focus for turn digital in every business sphere. EHR enables the data accessibility to this directors and their representatives at the any place around the clock. At present, EHR framework is the incorporated in HR benefits focus enterprises asset arising the programming in interactive voice reacting. So director and employees and entryways and web allocation and an advanced EHR enabled us access the data, analyze, decide direct investigation and to communicate with the other without consulting the HR office. Human resource planning, recruitment, training and development, compensation. So these are those things they may done through online. So opportunities and there are competitive advantages. Why they need to upgrade it to IT? Earlier, everything is going down manually. Now they are installed software. So everything is monitored through online. Olden days, they'll have the system of signature, register signature. No, it gone. It gone. It is replaced with punching machine. So at the time of they need to insert one punch. Okay, so they'll stamp the time at what time they in and what time they go out. So it is also gone. Now most of the organization they installed biometric enabled devices. Okay, they give thumb impression. Some of the organization even that is also not given. So they treat it as so mobile connected with AI software. So they scan the faces, face recognition apps are there. So based on that apps, they track the GPS location and they'll go to they're going to identify with whom they're tracking, and based on that the system will take attendance. So attendance management, in and out time, they are going to track by HR manager. No need to ask, okay, so this person is this person is this. Okay, no need to ask. The leave management is entirely, like digitalized, I can say, and they are going to transform into several. So competitive advantage. This gives some kind of productivity. So that gives productivity, accessibility, access. They'll get rapid and mistake-free exchange and interactive atmosphere. So interactive atmosphere. No, by sitting in one place like Hyderabad, we can monitor Mumbai people. Attendance. HRIS, Human Resource Information System, is basically defined as software or online solution that is used for purpose of the data tracking, data entry, data management of all HR operations of an organization. HR system and process have the need to adapt to work world data fields, the people-centric, technology-driven over the last decade. HRIS has evolved to embrace new trends. So HRIS, time and labor management, leave management, payroll functions, benefits to management, employee interface, talent acquisition and retention. Organization structure of HRIS. So employee data, we'll get the employee data. Job data, what they are doing, job data. We can plan and we can comply We can security. It's also secure. So there are certain advantages are there, HRIS. One-stop shopping, interaction of data, self-services, automated reminders, benefits to administration, recruiting, management. So there are certain disadvantages too. Security is a thing. So might be chance of hacking, might be cyber security, cost, of course, cost, staffing. We need to train the staff. Okay, that also one of the advantages. So let me sum of this. So progressively, technology has profound impact on HRM. The HRM is forced to take a new counters in both practices and process. And the technology is evolved. The HRIS emerged response to need of change carried out the most fruitful ways possible. Considering the improved accuracy, increased competitiveness, quick access, information, and efficiency, and the engineer of the HR function. By the result, the advancement in information technologies, evolvement of EHRM organizations have become more competitive by reducing the cost and improving the productivity, quality, profitability in HRM area. So modern business and industries are taking the suitable steps for the implementation of IT in key area of management of human resource by enabling the employees to make their optimum contribution to make organizations a competitive advantage. So IT extent and comparative impact of IT use and HRM functions organizations from different sectors, and it also taken into account usage pattern of different IT tools, performance, different HRM functions in organizations. However, there is no standardization in the integration of the computer and software into main HRM activities. Low level of integration of software and HRM functions can be related to the fear-based ignorance and low level of knowledge and training in IT. In general, organizations do not have portal exclusively for HR functions, use different computer software, similar HRM functions. This also means the functions include the analysis of Turkey, and this situation is expected to countries in the future. With this backdrop, the HR department should spend more attention towards education and training for the employees in department and into IT. So there are certain HRIS models are there. Input and output model basis of HRIS, models of HRIS adoption, HRIS successful model. So there are talent acquisition, talent management, talent operation. So these things are there. Let me okay. Is there any students are there? Okay. Is there any questions, ma?
No, sir. Clear.
It's clear. Okay, fine. It's unit 13. Yes. So IT. So IT and HRM. So you can understand the data managers or how IT can be used in HRIS, and do know entry procedures and process, and discuss the relevance of the decision-making concept of the information design, system design, to know the data office automation, design of HRIS, explain the standard software and custom software. Now, information system and MIS. I think MIS, what is meant by MIS? Management information system. So here, IT information system systematically collection of components, perform the data processing operations of organizations, like dealing with legal data processing requirement, in assessing the management, providing the relevant information to carry out the function effectively, generate reports. So what is my MIS? My MIS use the information technology. They can store and process the data, people and business process to record the data, the procedure information that decision makers can use to make decision day to day. Now, already last unit I explained attendance management, leave management, even tracking of sales force. So earlier, before implementing the IT in HRM, so most of the sales people, they are claiming that I went to this place and they produce the bills, and they are claiming the bills and TA bills and DA bills, all the bills they are going to claim. So it's very expensive to company. So they may generate the sales, they may not generate the sales. But being HR, your role is to collect that information from your internal employees with department wise, and you need to process the bill. That's it. After implementation of IT, there's a very simple example related to this. How MIS and HRIS softwares, they help to HR. So whenever they visit the client place or customer place, they are roaming one place to another place. Simply they install the app software in their mobile, and the mobile is linked with GPS. So wherever they, for example, simply they're claiming that Hyderabad to Karimnagar, they went to Karimnagar today, and next day they went to Warangal. Next day they're stating that some country like Jahirabad, some country like some city like another place called Bhadrachalam. So in around they're claiming that, so in GPS they are going to track that GPS. So whenever they're taking the photos with GPS, so that HR task is going to be simplified with this MIS software. Similarly, payroll is another thing. Payroll is another thing. No, we need to calculate salaries. Correct. So without I can say their salary should be credited and calculated accurately. They need to calculate. Some people, they work for overtime. Some people they'll climb that night shift allowances. So payroll management is another software. It's going to help to HR people. So no, we are looking to one by one. So HR information system, HRIS, is a systematic way to collect the recruiting, the classifying, the presenting, processing, the storing, the distributing the different information are required to effective this. So data collection functions and data functions. So elements involve the capturing the data and storage the data by using and indexing the capturing the data, formula organizing, processing the mining the data, and presenting the data and variety forms and data formats and the common data formats, entry, feature. Now here elements of the so here whenever you want the format of, for example, in a bulk, we need data mining means the huge data they stored in one database. In a bulk, all employee, like 10,000 employee, they've stored in one single Excel file. So they need to extract one single employee data from the database. For that, they may use different software like keyword. They search by keyword, like employee ID. So whenever they enter the employee ID, it generate the statement with electronic form. Simply, every month we need to provide employee payslips. Through electronic form, they are generating the payslips by using their software. So they are retrieving the data from the database. data format, common data formats, entry procedure and procedures. Now, decision. It continuously implement human resource process and the recruiting and employee process, benefits to administrator. I think already. Office automation. So office automation is another thing. So we can use CAD CAM and Outlook. We can use some software. Generally, MS Office. We call as MS Office. It consists of Word, PowerPoint, Excel, Access, Outlook. So all together, it's a package. To run the office very smoothly, we'll call as MS Office. Microsoft develop this office. So day-to-day operations, very Word is going for to write and to type, okay, to prepare document. Excel is n number of performance we can do. We can play with Excel like ocean. Okay, it's a base for all database, Excel. And queries, SQL is one of the queries like this. Here, automatically send the emails and the customers group in Microsoft Outlook, and CAD is designed, and these are the things. Attributes and advantages. It observed that there are rapid growth of the use of automation and system from the past few years. This growth can be attributed the following reasons: the value of information and information exploration, and increase in office cost, and the need availability of equipment and skills. Large number of organizations are being benefited by office automation due to the following advantages and the following related. So better utilization of human resources, improvement of quality of work, efficiency, decision, and better service of our customers, increased organization effectiveness. So information processing and control functions. There are higher level of involvement, middle level involvement, lower level involvement by collecting the information and process and control that information. For example, if you take assistant manager, they'll access their subordinate. If you take territory manager, that's one area manager, they'll access entire team data. If you take whole country manager, they'll take all state information in one presentation. There are certain tools are there to represent, like visualization tool. Power BI will help that. Power BI is one visualization tool. Excel is one visualization tool. Tableau is also one visualization tool. It helps the level of managers like HR in the HR also, junior like recruiter, the junior HR executive, junior level and mid level and high level like vice president and that such cadre people, they'll take the decisions based on information available in system. Each and every majority of the companies, they are going with at least automizing their HR into EHR. So in preliminary information, what are the system design and system engineering, system testing and installation? It's going to happen in systematically. System monitoring and evaluation. Relevance of decision making and capture the concepts of information system design. Programmed decisions, non-programmed decisions, MIS for decision making. So these are the things. Information system design. So analyze the problem by means of management science approach. Designing the decision rules, solve all application required, and programming the decision rule for the computer programming, and developing the input output of the computer information system, provide automated development, and design decision rule. So identify the formulate and manage a decision right, and find out the constant parameters available and involved, select the variables and appropriate the most influential, and distinguish between controllable and uncontrollable variables, state verbal relationship among the variables, and based upon the principles and performance symbolic manipulated in solving the equipment. So these are the designing of decision rules. So decision assessment information system. So we need to we can take IT as assessment to take this. Some outputs or decisions are computer enabled decisions are according to programmable decision. Now, for example, HR manpower planning. So based on number of employees, how many employees are there? So what is the work? So everything they are going to calculate it through using the system. Some outputs, secondary information, form, reports are to be used subsequent. Already I told you in list previous slide. So Power BI is our tool. Okay, they are going to reports mean charts. So methods of management science and utilized both types of system and the design decision rules. There are provisions of man machine type interaction in sense that the manager decision makers can model the decisions prior to commitment. Optimum solution are provided by management science and decision rules. Use of human resource data. The all organizations should have the number of committees, receivers, or consider the human resource information system regular or ad hoc basis, including government boards, executive management committees, or HR committees. So learning and development is going to happen. So HRM needs analysis. So here HR resource management, HRM required for organization to provide the benefits to available from the managerial and operation functions. All HR managers are supposed to perform both functions. HRM related to every aspect of the way which organization interacts with the people by the providing training and development opportunity, appraisal to find out about the individual needs for training and development. So strategic information needs and operational information needs, they are going to get gathered from this. So documentation and communication of HRM, of course, they need to document. So managerial functions, they need to document. Operative functions, they need to document. And through internet, they are going to document. So information needs. So procurement function, development function, compensation function, management function, and interaction function. So here, training and development needs analysis. There should be a analysis of opportunities and experience that are required for individual to train and develop to meet organizational and personal objective. Then training and development plan can be created, set out how these needs can be addressed in practical steps. HRM needs are related to provide a provision to training opportunities and courses for the individual to develop knowledge, skills, attitude that helps to organization to achieve its objective for development internal needs. There should be provision of opportunities, courses of individual development, knowledge, skills, attitude. So concepts and methodologies. So software operating system software, application software are there. I think in MIS, you people might be go through system software and application. OS system software, application means software. Operating system is also there. So standard software and customized software. So this is the end of this chapter. With this, I'm going to stop today's class.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. And tomorrow, one unit is left for you. 15th unit, I'm going to cover 4:30 or 4:40. I have one work in assigned by UPSC examination is there for me. So after that, I'm going to take the class. Thank you.
All the best, sir.
Thank you. So it's over to you, sir.